If you had a debate with Putin, who do you think would win? Okay, hold on. If I had a judo fight with Putin, I still think I'd win. Because you know what? That motherfucker's old. I know he's got like a black belt or whatever, but he's also really old. I feel like at this point, age might actually be the determining factor, you know? He's got all that skill or whatever. I'm healthy and 220 pounds. I feel like I could just run into him, you know? What, is he like 65? How old is he? 71? Oh, I could 100%. This isn't a anime, dude. There's no way a 71-year-old is winning in a fight against a 29-year-old. There's no way. There's no way. Do you think he really earned that black belt? My understanding is that he actually does care about martial arts, or at least did. My understanding is that he has lied about many things, but that is he was in the KGB, right? Like there's a good reason to believe that he has authentically done the, like, you know, macho man, you know, like that kind of shit. Couldn't he just strike your chest? Depends, how tall is he? He was a bureaucrat, not a spy or anything. Yeah, but they probably put you through basic training no matter what, right? For the KGB? I'm not even gonna look it up. I just assume that's true, and I'm gonna stick with it. Ukraine does a funny.
Evening, a Ukrainian missile strike has damaged a Russian warship in the Black Sea. President Zelensky has said he's grateful to the country's air force for the attack, and that Russian forces, in his words, won't have a single peaceful place in the country. Ukraine claims to have destroyed the Novocherkassk landing vessel in an airstrike on the port of Feodosia, which is 250 kilometers from the front line in Russian-occupied Crimea. Local officials say at least one person was killed.
Ropucha class of landing ship built in Poland for the Soviet Navy. These ships were built in the Stocznia Polnotnia shipyards in Gdansk. Man, these names. Poland, designed for beach landing, can carry 450 tons of cargo. Up to 25 armored personnel carriers can be, yeah, they're pretty big. Pretty big boats. Pretty big. It was loaded full of Iranian Shahed drones. Wait, was it really? Wait, are you just making that up? Because if so, that's actually a huge deal. Woo! I've heard that as well, but no source. God damn, if that's true, that's pretty big. Oh, they are carrying something. I don't think the Russians are capable of fixing this. I don't even know if the Americans would. Like, there's a reason why the Soviets are, like, 99% of their shit. Oh, sorry, the Russians, the reason's 99% of their shit's from the Soviets, you know? Like, I really don't think they have the you know, industrial capabilities necessary to fully, you know, outfit and develop and build a, you know, repair to that extent a new fleet. Does anyone have that photo of the, like, what was it? It was like a comparison between the undership portion of the same type of ship, but it was a comparison between one controlled by Russia and one controlled by China. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? M68 Ken, thank you so much for the dono. I'll go over donos soon. Gotta keep on track. Ukraine destroyed Russia's ship repair yard last year. The one? Absolutely insane, dude. This is the same... This is the same engine room. Like, it's the same type of ship. Look, this guy's even wearing, like, the Russian uniform, you know? With the stripes, the blue and white. Yeah. Both built in the Soviet Union. Yeah, it's so sad. Russia doesn't have the money to do anything, you know? Every piece of Russian equipment that you destroy is never coming back. Like, it's honestly kind of sad, because it's one of, like, the last remaining sort of industrial legacies of the Soviet Union, because that stuff is so old. A lot of other stuff in Russia has been sort of replaced or overtaken. You have all these, like, Soviet, like, ancient, essentially, Soviet weapons that are being destroyed. And a lot of it is just because the Russians are that incapable of maintaining their fleet, you know? Russia still has Soviet tanks in use? Yeah, that would be, like, most of them. Like, most of their tanks were built in, like, the 70s and 80s, right? Or built in Ukraine, yeah. Go further back, like 50s and 60s. Now, I think most of their remaining tanks aren't quite that old, though they are deploying tanks of that age. Russia is legit living in the Warhammer 40k universe, relying on ancient tech for the war machines that can neither replicate nor replace anymore. Actual dystopia. Soy comparison, but true, yes. It is incredibly funny. The idea of, like, their entire war machine. It's like, you know how much money the United States military spends every year purely on maintenance of our war machines? Imagine that, except they don't have the money for the maintenance. that's wrong, they can replace it. They kind of can't, though. Like you can take a look at the stuff they have in operation in their navy or their you know, their tanks or whatever. Like, it's pretty clear there's a reason why they're relying on those ancient tanks. You know, they can't replace their fleet or their
The main focus was to disrupt the Ukrainian counter-offensive, which was announced by Ukraine and its NATO allies. This task has been successfully completed.
Ukraine has only been able to liberate a few kilometres of its territory, and the head of its armed forces gave a sobering forecast for next year.
We're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, the enemy is not far behind us. You can see what is happening, especially recently. We're having powerful confrontations using various technologies.
Thank you, that's very helpful. Yeah, the war continues to stall for the moment. Though, Ukraine has been doing some pretty wacky stuff with their missiles lately. Yeah, I love for the BBC to be like, these like, this could literally just be a photo of the Gaza Strip if it wasn't for the trees, you know? Actually, the Gaza Strip would be significantly more densely populated than this, you know? The Gaza Strip is incredibly dense, much more dense than this town, you know? So it's like, the tyrannical Russians doing this, which they call liberation. Meanwhile, the BBC is sucking off Netanyahu while he does the exact same shit over in the Gaza Strip. That main Ukrainian general and Zelensky are apparently having some serious internal beef. We're gonna get another, we're gonna get a run on Kiev. We're gonna get another Wagner group breakdown. Let's go. The IDF killed an Australian citizen in Lebanon. Their buildings hit by an Israeli airstrike. Yeah, this isn't too surprising. Following the strike, Hezbollah announced he had been one of its fighters, according to the AFP news agency. All three people, Ibrahim Bazi, Sharuk Hamoud, and Ali Bazi, had their caskets draped in Hezbollah flags at their funerals on Tuesday. There's no suggestion either Ibrahim Bazi or Sharuk Hamoud were Hezbollah fighters. Wait. So Hezbollah has said that they were their people, and their caskets were draped in a Hezbollah flag, but there's no suggestion either of them were Hezbollah fighters? What does that mean? Is the suggestion that Hezbollah would lie for the purpose of rabble-rousing over something like this? This seems like a weird thing to lie about. Jihadist clout chasing? Yeah, many such cases. It's the same thing that ISIS did where they claim every attack or person is theirs. So has the family said that they were not Hezbollah fighters? Like, the family is making statements. Would they not want to contest Hezbollah's statement that these guys were a part of Hezbollah? If these guys were a part of Hezbollah, then, like, there's nothing special about this strike. You know, the fact that they're Australian citizens doesn't change the fact that in this case they would have gone and joined, like, a jihadist militia. To, you know, like that's not too surprising. I guess the initial impression that I had was that Israel is sort of spitefully going after converts or people who are sympathetic to the enemy. But if they were actually militants, which the news says there was no indication they were, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe they were Hezbollah accountants. Yeah, maybe. Probably unlikely if he was planning to live his life in Sydney. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say without more info. Watchdog submits evidence of Israeli executions of Gaza civilians to UN ICC. Oh, man, I can't wait. The UN? The ICC? Ah, finally, Israel will be taken to task. Brought to justice. Hell yeah. Look at how parents and children act when they run into a Palestinian Omegle. Wait, you can't take anything from an Omegle video. You have no idea if it's real or not, or if it's staged. You could literally just, like, pre-record people talking and then stack their videos in a way that makes it look like the... Yeah, it doesn't mean anything, you know?
Hi. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I saw your TikToks. Why are you spreading? Why?
Yeah, this is fake. Sorry to inform you, this is fake. Yeah. Censored Man is a shit Twitter page. It's literally called Censored Man. I'm not surprised by this. Omegle's gone. Yeah, didn't they close Omegle? I don't really know. Pretty sure that dude has a big TikTok account. He does those calls, apparently. I don't know if it's a repost, though. Then in all likelihood, all of his videos are fake. Censored Man was getting cited by leftists a lot after the Hamas attacks, was very disappointed. Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again, but like, being correct politically doesn't really mean that much with regards to your capacity to continue making correct decisions, you know? Like, a good example of this that's currently hot in terms of Twitter discourse is a lot of leftists will pretend they're pro-rehabilitative justice, and then all of them will argue it should be okay to, like, murder rapists or something, you know? Where you have a person arrive sort of like incidentally or coincidentally at a correct position, but then you realize their underlying moral logic doesn't it doesn't add up. They just ended up having a correct position, but in like future, you know, in future arguments, they might arrive at a completely wrong one because their process for arriving at a good answer is dumb, you know? Tankies? No. Trust me. The lefties who don't actually believe in rehabilitation, that's like most lefties.